everyone, welcome back to the Diponegoro News. My name is Revela Effendy as your first presenter from the Diponegoro University International Undergraduate Program, majoring in Government and Science, batch 2020.
I'm Laila representing Kamil as the second presenter from the Diponegoro University International Undergraduate Program, majoring in Government Science, batch 2020.
Hi everyone, my name is Aribah Ralina as your third presenter from Diponegoro University International Undergraduate Program, majoring in Government Science, batch 2020.
Hello, my name is Meiandra Albi Rayhan as a fourth presenter from Diponegoro University International Undergraduate Program. I'm from Government Science, batch 2020.
On the outskirts of the Indonesian capital, yet another family has lost a relative and ambulances queue up with more bodies to be buried.
Immediately, we lead to the first news, namely news about the COVID-19 virus, which is still increasing, so that many questions arise in the media about the implications of policies for handling the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia. The COVID-19 virus, which was first reported in the city of Wuhan, China at the end of 2019, has changed the world. Since the first case, the spread of the virus has continued and plagued all corners of the world until it became a pandemic.
With the spread of COVID-19 outbreak for all corners of the world, this has created the world pandemic as something that always accompanies world life. Therefore, COVID-19 of course makes the citizens of the world panic and causes various complications in regulating the order of life in every country. The COVID-19 pandemic is the biggest phenomenon in the current century, by forcing everyone to adapt and move carefully to stop the COVID-19 pandemic, which has caused a lot of harm to various levels of society.
January 2020 is the starting point for how COVID-19 can spread and attack various countries. At first, there had been first cases of mysterious pneumonia in Wuhan. After that, this virus began to spread in the city of Beijing and South Guangdong province with a high transmission rate. Until the end of January 2020, the Chinese government began to instruct the city of Wuhan to be locked down, which in the end of the quarantine was extended to a national lockdown. Until then, WHO declared the epidemic a global health emergency on January 30. Then, this also affects other countries to carry out travel restriction policies. The epicenter of the spread of the COVID-19 began to shift to the European continent and around America. Until the end, WHO officially declared the COVID-19 epidemic to be a pandemic that was endemic to all corners of the world.
This epidemic continues to terrorize billions of people on this planet, with the increasing number of infections and deaths due to the presence of COVID-19 pandemic. In Indonesia, the Indonesian government only declared a health emergency at the end of March 2020, 3 months after the first case was detected in China, and almost 1 month after the first case of COVID-19 was recorded in Indonesia. In formulating policies that move quickly to fight the pandemic, the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia often brings up problems or pros and cons from various groups. Between people welfare, the economy, and health issue, the COVID-19 pandemic is indeed a frightening terror in Indonesia.
The condition of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021 has indeed shown various innovations, solutions, and concrete steps. However, talking about the situation in 2021 in fact cannot be said to be successful. Since the beginning of 2021, there has been a spike in cases in Indonesia after the end of 2020 holiday and forcing the government to impose community activity restriction or PPKM until February. The world was also intensified with mutations or the emergence of the new variant of COVID-19, which began to spread widely from all corners of the world. One of the countries experiencing the crisis, among others, India and Indonesia. Both India and Indonesia, cases of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis were indeed caused by a massive increase in daily cases, which created a crisis in availability of health facilities and forced the government to reorganize all its policies. However, on the other hand, the war body has inaugurated various vaccines variants such as Pfizer-BioNTech, AstraZeneca, Sinovac, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others.
Then, this vaccination program is the most realistic solution that can be applied to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. As an effort to fight the COVID-19 pandemic that has hit Indonesia, the Indonesian government has sought a vaccination program aimed at all levels of Indonesian society.
Then here is also a timeline of the government's agenda that has been trying to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia. Namely, the first one is large-scale social restrictions or PSBB. PSBB is an emergency policy of the Indonesian government at the beginning of the pandemic. PSBB is a bottom-up policy which is formulated from the regions to the center. For example, a region from each province can apply for a PSBB and that will be approved by the Ministry of Health. This policy has been regulated in Peraturan Pemerintah number 21 of 2020, which refers to Law 6 of 2018 concerning health quarantine. The second agenda was the enforcement of restrictions on community activities or PPKM. PPKM is a new term for the government's emergency policy since 2001. Emergency PPKM is a top-down policy, which is formulated by the center, which requires the implementation of this policy for provinces and regions that experience high increases. For example, the Java-Bali region. This policy was decided by President Joko Widodo by considering input from various parties, ranging from epidemiologists, health experts, to regional heads. The PPKM policy is contained in the Ministry of Home Affairs Instruction number 1 of 2001 to all regional heads in Indonesia who experience an increase in daily high cases, especially in the Java-Bali area.
The timelines for several PPKM policies that have been implemented consist of national PSBB in April 2020 until June 2020, the establishment of PSBB in DKI Jakarta province to accelerate the handling of COVID-19. Then, by paying attention and considering the situation of the spread of virus in Indonesia, in the end of this situation, policy was adopted by other regions through Indonesia, which was eventually referred to as National PSBB.
Based on the consideration of daily cases and active COVID-19 cases which are considered stable, as well as the increasing availability of health facilities for patients, this has indeed become the basis for the lifting of the emergency brake for the past month. During the transitional PSBB period, a number of rules began to be relaxed, including the reopening of the operations of entertainment venues such as cinemas, as well as offices in both the essential and non-essential sectors for face-to-face activities with a maximum capacity of 50%. 5. PPKM, January 2021 to February 2021. After the high mobility of the community at the end of the 2020 holidays, the Indonesian government has re-entered the PPKM from 11 to 25 January 2001 to reduce the significant increase in the active COVID-19 cases. The urgency of the implementation of PPKM is to reduce community mobility in the Java-Bali area, wherein there is an increase in COVID-19 cases. The PPKM implemented covers the Java region with certain perimeters from each district or city, in which the new models for social restriction policy is considered to be looser than the PSBB. 6. Micro PPKM, February 2021 to June 2021. This policy is actually not much different from the previous activity restriction conditions. PPKM Micro Volume 2 does not impose a strict prohibition on face-to-face activities and community mobility, because the spread of COVID-19 is more stable than at the beginning of 2021. Various education sectors such as schools and universities already have these courses and face-to-face learning scenarios with mechanisms and customized terms. However, even though the condition of the spread of COVID-19 is considered stable and starting to improve, It's just that this policy also forces the public to carry out strict health protocols for daily activities.
The emergency PPKM 1 until 20 July 2021, the situation from March to April 2021 seems to be the best compared to the situation in June. In the previous policy, the COVID-19 condition in Indonesia was considered stable, but a few days after 2028 Fitri joint leave began to show a significant graph of improvement. This emergency PPKM is valid from July 3 until July 20.
Switch again to the latest conditions and situations. By considering active daily cases, especially in Java Bali region, as the epicenter of the spread of the COVID-19 chain, the Indonesian government has implemented emergency PPKM and PPKM level 4 or PPKM level 3 for every region in Indonesia that has increased cases. Conditions in Indonesia since the beginning of June 2021 are in fact inversely proportional to conditions in February until April.
While in the February-April period, the conditions for the spread of COVID-19 are considered stable and under control. Conditions in Indonesia since the 2021 relief have seen a sharp increase in daily cases. Very daily case records in Indonesia, including daily case records and record deaths due to COVID-19, have become a serious concern as the root cause of the implementation of emergency PPKM. This condition reaps complicated problems as well as the pros and cons of every element of society.
Talking about policy implications, this PPKM reaps various kinds of polemics against various elements of society. There are parties who agree with the implementation of the emergency PPKM as an effort that is considered a policy that is quite contributive to stop the high increase in daily cases in Indonesia. However, talking about the perspectives of other elements of society, this policy is considered to be complicating to the situation.
Many from every level of society, especially business, experts consider that this policy kills their income. This policy is also considered a solution for the general public because this policy is considered not in accordance with the needs and will complicate the life of general public is an emergency situation.
There are also lists of solutions. 1. Make policies with a consistent and one-quarter system, so that the public is not confused by the many existing policies. 2. Locate a budget to alleviate problems from the impact of COVID-19 for workers. 3. Maximize the implementation of the quarantine law in accordance with the applicable law.
4. Bappenas and research institutions must map the post-pandemic workforce landscape that is adjusted to the demographic of the Indonesian population. Mapping the workforce landscape is increasingly important ahead of the implementation of ASEAN Connectivity 2025. 5. Central and local government must ensure that various social protection programs are well targeted. 6. The effectiveness of the social assistance stimulus will indirectly curb the surge in poverty and unemployment.
7. The commitment of the government and the business world must be increased in empowering low-skilled workers through continuous training and sustainable use of digital technology.
That's our headline today. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and don't forget to always practice 3M. Wear masks, keep your distance, and always wash your hands.
Also, don't forget to click the subscribe and like button for more info. We say goodbye and see you soon.